Okay, now you see the piece in front of you, and I did show you what the other looks like. You can see that it is a bit messy. We have some edges here that kind of need to be worked on. These are some things that you are going to need. You're going to need some stitch markers. So I would just get a bunch of them out. You can color code or not color code or whatever you want to do. I just get a bunch out ready to go. Now what I do is I look at my piece first of all and I say, okay, looks like right here through here there's a little bit of an issue. So I will grab my stitch markers and I will put in a stitch marker right there. Oops. Well, and I'll put one in right here. Now, tops are fairly even, but we have some issues right here. So I know that I'm going to have to work from that end. I'm not even going to mark this end here. I do know that I am going to mark right here. And then most likely whatever I do in here and here will continue up this way. I will tell you, do not be tempted to use slip stitches. Slip stitches, and I will show you why here. Okay. Slip stitches cause something totally different on your piece. And when we work from this piece, because the other piece was curling, I work from this side over. I work the back because I want those stitches to try to help pull that curl out. The other thing is, and I apologize for the moving, I'm using a new system and I'm not real sure about it. I will use either one hook size smaller than what I was using or two. And I think I'm going to go with the two. I had started with an L hook, so I'm going to use a J hook. Now, I am going to create a slip knot, and I do mine a little differently than others people's do. And yes, you can work your tail in. I just cross it, pull through, tighten it up, and there's my slip stitch. Like I said, I am going to start on one of these sides, and I'm going to start right here. I'm going to pull that through, and I am going to chain two. I am going to work a double crochet. I'm going to skip that first one completely. I'm going to count that chain two, maybe. And then I'm going to work double crochets up to that bit where it's a little confusing, where it bulges out. But first what I'm going to do is I've done a couple of stitches. Now I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to kind of look at this. Do I think this is going to bring this up to this? I think it's going to be higher. So, since I do think it's going to be higher, I am going to pull that back, take out one of those stitches, and from there I am going to do half double crochets. And I'm going to work over my tail. This time I will put a half double crochet in that first one, and then each stitch along the side. Oh yeah, this system is not Not an easy system. You want to try to make sure that you're only getting one stitch in each one of these. Okay, we're coming up to that point where it looks like I'm going to have to change my stitches. Now, I told you not to do a slip stitch, because if you do, you're going to have that funky look on the front. So I'm not going to do a slip stitch, but I am going to do just a single crochet over this area where it is pulled out, bowed out, whatever you want to call that. Now I'm going to pull this stitch marker out, and I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to decide, do I want to continue with that half double? Because the half double did bring this up a little bit better, and I think I am just going to continue with the half double. Now you have to decide when you get to your corners how you want to do your corners. For me, I'm going to do a half double, chain one, and another half double. Now we're going to work along the top side there. And this sometimes can be a little tight, but I think I'm just going to do single crochets across that top. I think it'll be fine with the half doubles there. But this is, you might want to consider this a trial and error period to see what you want to do with your piece. See, because I may look at it and say, I don't like that. You know, do I like the way that that looks? I'm going to leave it for now and continue to do my half double, my single crochets across the top. But whatever you do when you are trying to straighten up the edges, choose some basic stitches. Don't choose any fancy stitches. Choose primarily basic stitches. I wouldn't do, say, something like a, see, I'm here in the corner again. I'm going to do a single, chain one, another single. Then I am going to turn my piece on the side and I'm going to look at it. I think I can get away with maybe I should do a couple of half double crochets all the way to here. Maybe here. Let's do some half double crochets and see what it looks like along this edge. Try to make sure you're going through 2 stitches and not just one. Yeah, I don't like this system. I see a lot of movement here. I'll look at it, see how it looks. Do I like that? Maybe. I am going to continue with half double to about right there. That one I think I can get away with doing a single. Now by going down a hook size to 2 hook sizes, that is also going to help bring this down a little bit, make it a little firmer. It oftentimes will help stop curl. So that's why I use a smaller hook. You know, you could go just one size down. For those of you that are tight crocheters, going down 2 hooks sizes may be too much. Okay. Got a few more half double crochets to go for this side. Okay. Yeah, I think the rest of that will be okay with some singles. But like I said, this is trial and error. This is where you have to decide what works for you in the best way possible. Oops. And this is that edge that we did the this isn't the edge, it's the other edge, I think. By doing that, going through the last 2 stitches, when we were finishing it up, it helps create a straighter row. Now see how that looks? That looks pretty much like it's evened itself out. Now, the edge, when you get to the top edge, whichever your top edge is, that most likely is going to be the edge where you have, I'm at a corner again. That most likely, if it is your bind off, it may be tight. Then again, it may not be. I tried to make sure that I do mine fairly loosely when I'm first working these, especially when I'm doing a sampler. To me, it just seems to work a little bit better. And I'm back at a corner, so I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. And I am going to turn it on its side here. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, okay, I still need to build up a little bit here and back there. So this side we had already started with half double crochets, so we're going to continue with half double crochets to get to that joining point. I am hoping that I can stabilize this because I'm seeing an awful lot of movement with it. because I really don't want to make you seasick. Okay, and then we are going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to chain one. I am going to look at this side. This side I think is fine. This side I still have those issues working up to this. So this time around I'm going to chain two. And I'm going to do a double crochet up to my odd point. That's right there. I would work on this on a table if you could. I have not, my larger one, I didn't work on a table. But you know, I've done this more than once, so I have an idea of where we're going with that. Okay. And continue a couple more double crochets. Okay. Now, I have to look at this and I have to decide half double crochets or single crochets. First, I'm going to try a couple half double crochets. Now, I've done a couple of stitches, so I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to look at it. I think the half double are going to be fine. Maybe two more stitches, half double crochet, possibly a third. One more half double. And then I'm going to finish off with double crochet all the way to the end. And does that even that up? Pretty much. Looks like it is. So now I'm going to have to decide my corners. Do I want to continue with the double crochets around? And I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to work all the way around, double crochets, all the way around here. And I'm going to put a double crochet, chain one in the corners. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I will come back to you and we'll see how it looks then. Now I am happy with the way this looks as far as these edges go here. Now at this point, if you want to add more to your border, whatever you do, you're simply going to turn it now to the right side, and hopefully that will have worked out any curling issues that you had. If not, you may want to do another row on the back side, but you can then start adding more border if you want. Those of you who are perfectionists, this will drive you nuts. But if you are using the same colors, most of the time you will not see this right in here because it'll blend in. And like I said, those that are not trained, are not crocheters, they're not going to notice it whatsoever. But that's how I even up the edges. I work and I continue to work rounds until I'm satisfied with the way it works. And then from there, I will add in more border if I want, or not. Since this is a practice piece for that smaller one, I'm not going to work with another border. I'm just going to finish it here. But if you're working on your regular blanket, you may want to go ahead and do some more rounds on it. From that point, you can change up your border to anything you would like. You could do a shell around it. You could do whatever. Um, you know, the sky's the limit with these. For your borders, you could put in a ribbed border, doing some front and back post if you wanted to, all the way around, a couple of rounds. Like I said, I left this the way it is, and you saw the purple one the way that I had finished it, and I was perfectly happy with it the way it was. So, there you have it in a nutshell. Next week, you will need some cotton yarn. I think we're going to do the torch stitch, but I'm not positive. Trying to think about which one I want to do next. But yeah, that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And always remember, be kind to one another, be a little kinder to yourself. And I'll see you again next Tuesday. Bye. Okay, now I've laid this out on the bed because I needed to look to see where I need to add. And you can see here on this edge, we're still off here on that edge. So I need to add some, take another swing around this way. I did manage to get too many stitches on the top, which is why it's ruffling. So the next round I will decrease a few stitches as I go so that it'll help bring that in. This side is fairly, it's okay. It does have a couple of issues. I could probably fill in there. As you can see, the very beginning is still doing a lot of curling. So I will do another round on the back side with the opposite side facing me. And I will again, I'm going to take my stitch markers and I will pin those along where I think I need to add stitches. I'll just put it in between where I need to add stitches. You can see on that other side, it's pretty rough. This side, I think once it's washed and then laid out to dry, it'll be fine. But that curling is still driving me a little bit nuts. So I will go around with another couple of probably half double crochets to bring it around a little bit. I'm not sure how I got extra stitches up here, but it's quite entirely possible. You know, overzealous in doing it. But this is part of the process, is once you get another round done, you're going to lay it back down flat somewhere so you can see where you need to add or take away stitches. See, this side's not too bad. And ignore the stuff on the bed. But this side, I still have a lot of issues right in here and that top part. So I'm going to come fill in a little bit here again. Most likely from about here. From there to that point out there, and then from that little section that's wider to the very end, I'll fill out, like I was saying, that I'll fill out from that very stitch marker, top stitch marker up with half double crochets. I'll probably do single crochets right in here, probably half double through here to about there to kind of build it up. Like I said, that is just part of the process. You've got to feel your way through it. Keep laying it down, see what works, what doesn't work. And if all else fails, you can always just count it off as, a wild piece that you'll just leave to have a remembrance of. But normally what I will do is I will keep working at it until it gets a little more filled out, a little straighter edges. If I have a few bumps along the way, like right in here, that continue to stay that way, I'm not going to worry about it. My biggest concern is this right in here, because it really does bow out quite a bit. So I do want to fill in up to that point. But that's it. That's how you work it. I'll go back and work at this and see what I come up with, and we'll see it again in a few minutes. Now I want you to see how I've pretty much evened this up a little bit. There's still one little issue, but I think when it's washed and then laid out to dry, I do lay my Tunisian projects to dry on their own, usually with a fan blowing on them, just because it helps with stopping that curl. It's a little bit of a blocking technique, sort of, but not really true blocking. But as you can see, I've worked it out a little bit. Edges are straighter. Like I said, you just have to keep going on. I am going to do one more round of half double crochets all the way around to finish bringing in some of the edges. I still have a little bit of over here, a little bit of waviness, so I'm going to pull that in a little bit with doing some decreasing along that edge here and there. But other than that, this blanket is just about ready to go. I hope that you did enjoy this portion of it. I will tell you that I have to refilm using the smaller version where I showed you how I do this on the smaller version because I deleted it. So have a good laugh at my expense. You'll see that first part first and then these, but I thought you might have a little bit of a giggle at my own getting ahead of myself, thinking I had already filmed it, had already put it in there, kept it, and no, I deleted it.